Welcome to the ESPN Saturday Showcase, presented by 5 Hour Energy. And welcome to Tallahassee and the ACC on ESPN. It's a matinee in the ACC between two teams heading in opposite directions. Florida State, red hot, having won 3 in a row. They're unranked. Clemson, after a COVID pause, back-to-back losses. Still ranked 20th, but you can see Florida State. They have become the hot new contender in the ACC, lurking one game along with Pitt behind Virginia for the top spot in the conference standings. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, and Dick. Again, we've got two teams heading in opposite directions. Brad Brownell's team. These Clemson Tigers are struggling.
Well, you know, Bob, they're struggling because they're not playing the defense they played earlier in the year when they beat the likes of Purdue and Alabama, and they beat this Florida State team. They're not playing that kind of defense. The last 2 games, they've really been blown away, both by Virginia and certainly blown away in their last game as well. But when you look at Leonard Hamilton's club, they're going the other way. As you said, Bob, they're playing outstanding basketball now, and they've beaten in the last 3. They're beating quality teams in the ACC, beat the Carolina Tar Heels. They went out of their way to beat North Carolina State, and I'm telling you, they are playing solid basketball because they had that big win earlier this week when they routed Louisville.
Hey, Dick, I don't know that I've heard a team talked up more recently that's unranked than Florida State. Even watching Game Day on ESPN earlier today. Heard LaFonso Ellis, heard Jay Billis both talk about this Florida State team as not only being talented enough to potentially make it to the Final Four, but those guys thought this might be a team that could win it all. Do you think they have that kind of ceiling?
Well, they really do have a chance to get better and better because, first of all, they got a tremendous freshman in certainly Barnes, who's a 6'8" point guard, handles the ball exceptionally well. He's just getting familiar with the position. He was a forward his entire career, but now he's playing the point, so he's going to get better and better. And then they got so many players and parts they utilize, and they got the typical Leonard Hamilton where he rotates, uses his bench, and they have size. They're going to be a threat. There's no doubt about it. But they better take care of business today because Clemson's coming back with a little idea. They want to break that unbelievable poor performance in the last 2 games.
And Amir Sims gets the Tigers on the board first. John Newman is back in the starting lineup as he is starting for the 6th time this season. And speaking with Brad Brownell earlier today, he talked about Amir Sims and John Newman and Jonathan Baer as being the guys who are the seniors. Those are the players they have to lean on to try and get themselves out of this rut. You can also see Wyatt Wilkes getting the start for Florida State as Anthony Polite misses his 2nd consecutive game with a shoulder injury.
You know, Simpson, an all-ACC type of player. He can shoot the 3 as well, 40%, shooting overall better than 50%, strong, big, tough player.
Alamir Dawes with the rebound off the MJ Walker miss.
Dawes, very aggressive defensive player.
Shot clock winding down for the Tigers as Dawes goes to work, forces one up in the lane, and it's fumbled out of bounds by Koprivica.
Yeah, not a good shot right there by Dawes. Really, shot selection is important against a club like Florida State. But I'll tell you this as well. Florida State, you mentioned earlier, they're going to miss Polite. Polite's shooting better than 53% from the 3. And he's been out with his shoulder injury the last couple games. Full court pressure. Oh, look at it. Did a good job reversing the ball.
Wilkes jumped into the passing lane, got the steal, and Koprivica throws it down off the lob from MJ Walker.
You know, Walker's been passing the ball so well. Koprivica's getting better and better. He's just a young, big guy learning how to play. But Walker had 2 points against Louisville, but he had 10 assists, and he defended really well. Very unselfish, good play right here. Perfect lob, Koprivica. It's like Visa, the pizza. I know you like pizza, Bob, but it's Visa.
Why, when you take a look at me, would you think I like pizza?
I've been with you, my friend. You can chow with the best.
I really do miss the media buffets, I have to tell you. There's that last foul, by the way, on Raekwon Gray. Newman, the playmaker, but the jumper missed, and a save. Wyatt Wilkes keeps it alive to Raekwon Evans for Florida State. Gray skips one to Wilkes. He can't hit the triple. Offensive rebound. Raekwon Gray flips one up, and it's good.
He's really becoming an interesting player in the baseline. You talk about a guy that's getting better and better, getting playing time. You know, I had two guys that went in the lottery last year, Vassell and certainly the kid Williams, who's starting for Billy Donovan with the Chicago Bulls.
Amir Sims thought about going to the NBA, put his name in. It was even at Brad Brownell's suggestion, but decided to come back for his senior season at Clemson. And here's Raekwon Gray on the offensive glass.
Yeah, right. That's going to split the defense. Very strong player, nice rotation. He made a real smart decision coming back to school. Sims would be right now playing in the G League. There's no way he'd be playing on the NBA franchise at this moment. These kids want too much instant gratification right away.
Clyde Trapp is stuffed by Wyatt Wilkes.
Well, Trapp made a strong move to the goal, but Wilkes made a better defensive play.
That floater comes up short for Gray, and then he commits the foul. That's the second on Gray.
They got lots of rotation over. There's a defense by Wilkes. Great job defensively. If you're familiar with the name, people in basketball are. His grandfather lost his life this year. And he's just a tremendous basketball guy. Coaches had great respect. Glenn Wilkes, for years at Stetson, was really a guy that knew the game inside out, wrote some beautiful books, and may he rest in peace.
A National Basketball Hall of Famer, even his own dad, Glenn Jr., in his 34th season, coaching the women's team at Rollins. So Wyatt Wilkes comes from not only a coach's son, but a coach's grandson. As you said, here's Sims going to work, kicks it back up top. 5 to shoot. Clyde Trapp on the drive, threw it to no man's land. Jonathan Baird held out by a foul call with 1 second on the shot clock. And Wilkes is frustrated.
Yeah, I'd be frustrated too. That's not really a heady play right there. He was ready to take a prayer shot, and here he is going to go to the free throw line. Florida State last year was so special. They lost some key players. You know, I mentioned Vassell and mentioned Williams. What about Forrest? You talk about an ultimate winner. Leonard Hamilton said he's like one of the best winning players he's ever had. He's just a winner's mentality. He was a leader. And Lenny's, is he invited him to dinner? I don't think so. I don't think he's invited him to dinner.
He's probably talking about the 3 starters that he lost and 2 lottery picks, and I lost the 6th man of the year in the league. You know, that's Jamie Lucky. Just let him know, Jamie, I mean, think of everything I've lost. You got to be nicer to me with these calls.
These teams got to make better decisions than follow the guy in a desperate situation.
That's probably what Jamie said.
Yeah. So many times, you know, kids have no idea what's on the clock. They just play.
Sloppy play by the Knowles. But giving it right back was Amir Sims. And throwing it down, Koprivica.
He gave it right back. Koprivica with a jam, baby. Balsa, Koprivica. He's getting better and better and better, is what Mr. Hamilton told me on the phone yesterday.
He's finally healthy. He had a back injury he suffered last season that cost him a handful of games. Sims can't hit the 3. And it's saved to the corner, but Wilkes will let it go out as Olivier Maxis Prosper put it back under the Florida State basket.
You know, the one thing that Clemson's done early in this game, they haven't made shots, but they're moving the ball really well. They're trying to share the ball, looking for their high percentage shots. Their defense has really let them down in the last 2 games.
MJ Walker, a 3 to open up the Florida State lead to 5.
MJ Walker really has been playing outstanding basketball. I'm hoping that he becomes ultimately, as the year goes on, their leader on that perimeter. Good distributor, passes the ball exceptionally well. He can make shots.
Alamir Dawes able to answer.
That was a big 3 right there, man. They needed that to lose momentum. I know it's early in the game, but you can see it needed that for a little confidence.
Here's the freshman Scotty Barnes. As you saw, he checked in for the first time, last time up the floor. Highest ranked recruit Leonard Hamilton's ever had. He'll launch one and connect. defense.
And that's why you're getting to see a kid that there's no doubt about it, he will be a lottery selection. He's a one and done. I mean, Leonard makes no doubt when you talk to him, he said he's going to the NBA, a lot of money in front of him. But he's a kid learning.
Connect on the step back.
You know, Bob, he's learning a new position. He's never played the point guard in his life, and he's learning at 6'8". We've had some big point guards over the years, but they played all their life. When you think about Magic and Hardaways and guys like that. And I'm not saying he's in their category, because those guys are in another world.
Sims with a skip pass. A wide open three is cleared by Koprivica.
Koprivica did a great job going to get that rebound. It wasn't right to him.
From the corner, hits another triple.
Well, he didn't make any shots basically against Louisville, but he passed the ball. So this game, he said, you know what? I'm going to show you I can make shots too. He only had a deuce against Louisville in that round, but he's playing really well to start the game here. That's 2 threes.
Walker gets a deflection covered by Dawes. Sims knocked out of bounds by a very active MJ Walker early. Clemson only 2 for 8 from the field to start the game. Defense turns to offense for the Noles without Anthony Polite today. They still have the early lead. The Saturday Showcase on ABC is presented by 5 Hour Energy. Get it done. Well, MJ Walker is getting it done. He has a couple of early threes, up to 152 for his career in the top 10 all-time at Florida State. Bob Wischusen and Dick Vitale. And the Noles, as expected, Dick, off to a good start. You had them picked last season, had we had a tournament, to maybe win the whole thing. And this year, they've become the fashionable pick as well. They've been playing really well of late.
Well, you know, in the ACC last year, they won the regular season. It was 16-4. They won 20 games in a row coming into this game at home against ACC competition. Leonard Hamilton, hey, who said Florida State's football school? Move over. It's the pigskin, baby, to the sideline. It's that round leather ball. Leonard's done a terrific job, and his team has been averaging in their last wins by 17.3 points per game in those 3 ACC wins over Carolina, NC State, and Louisville.
They haven't lost at home against an ACC team for a couple of years. They've won 20 consecutive ACC home games. They haven't lost, and that was a game that you and I actually called a buzzer beater against Duke back in 2019.
I remember that game. That game was an unbelievable play on an inbounds under the basket for Duke, and they won that game. The ACC record is 26 straight ACC home wins.
If I remember right, that was a Cam Reddish buzzer beater.
He was wide open. He was wide open. Remember that? But near the elbow.
So double dribble. Well, can't do that. That is a double dribble.
No doubt about that, baby. You know, he gets guys. Paul Biancardi sent me a list today about recruiting. He gets a lot of guys, the very good players, obviously, the players Leonard gets. But his staff does a great job going out and evaluating. Because a lot of these guys, you don't see them on McDonald's list. You don't see them as, you know, Ballyhooed high school superstars. But they come here, they got ability, and they blend as a team. Leonard does a great job getting his players to understand what a good shot is and how to play team defense to help one another. Like right there, to help you.
Walker comes back the other way. He'll lob it into traffic. That is broken up, but it looks like a foul will be called on the entry pass to Tenor Ngum. And coming up later over on ESPN, a full day of great college basketball games is capped off by this one. LSU in second place in the SEC, in Kentucky. They're just looking to try and turn their season around. Should be a good one. 6 Eastern, 5 Central on ESPN and the app. And what did I see earlier on game day? And I think on the Dick Vitale Twitter feed, it's the first time since 1961 that Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky are all outside the top 25.
Yep, 1961. I'm glad you go to my Twitter at Dickie V. That's nice of you, Bob.
Who doesn't?
I really appreciate that.
Who doesn't go to your Twitter?
Oh, jeez. Nice little turnaround jump shot there, 15-foot shot. You know, one thing about Leonard's team, as you look here at the standings, Virginia is undefeated right now. And that's not a dominant Virginia team. They're a good team, obviously a good team. But they're not one of his great teams. But they just are winning because, first of all, the conference is not from top to bottom. Let's be honest, it's not vintage ACC.
Florida State with the early 10-point lead. Calhoun called for the foul. How it started, how it's going in the ACC, we'll tell you in a moment. How it started in the ACC. Well, you had teams like Duke and North Carolina joining Virginia and Florida State in the top 25. Only one of those teams, though, remains in the top 25. Clemson got as high as 12. And Virginia Tech, they may not be ranked for long after their game today against Syracuse. And what a story Justin Champagny has become, Dick, at Pitt. What a game he had against Duke. These are certainly all players to watch.
Wait on Champagny's been unbelievable. Had 31 and 14 against Duke in his second game back from missing a month with an knee injury. You know, I want to clarify this. The ACC is still very good. It's very good. We don't have those vintage heavyweight dominant teams. Syracuse is a pretty good basketball team. They beat certainly Virginia Tech today.
Hunter Tyson works his way to the free throw line. Tenor Ngam picks up the foul.
Yeah, you know, the ACC, I think right now is no doubt that the Big Ten is the best conference in basketball, followed by number 2, I would say the Big 12. I think those two are head and shoulders.
Hunter Tyson was out for 8 games in a row between the COVID postponements and the facial injury.
Take a look right there.
To wear that mask. And yeah, you're right.
Ranked
the Big
teams.
10 and the Big 12 certainly seem to have elevated themselves past all of the other big conferences in college basketball.
Hey, look at the Big Ten. When you got Michigan State at 2 and 4, I think that tells you about the quality of that league. You got to come to play every day.
Walker with the left hand and convert. Lost on the baseline, though, by Clyde Trapp, so it will stay with Florida State. I'll have to check, but in the last bracketology from our guy Joe Lenardi that I checked, I think 10 of the top 16 seeds that he's projecting in the NCAA tournament, if it were to begin tomorrow, are either from the Big 10 or the Big 12.
That tells you the story. Well, let me tell you this. The VBDI, basically the Vital Ball government, it likes Mr. Lenard, so it agrees with a lot of them. But isn't it kind of early talking all this about where teams are going to be? There's so much basketball has to be played. Come on, this is January. Come on, man. There'll be so many changes by then.
If the VBDI doesn't weigh in, then as far as I'm concerned, it's not even a topic worth discussing.
I've been shining it up too, man, the VBDI. I've been shining that dome up.
You have done work. It's noticeable. You look great. You can see yourself. Oh, yeah. I could. That's as shiny as could be. I could see myself in there. But use pledge.
You got to have a little fun, man. When you do games at home, you're locked up in your little studio. You got to have a little laugh. You got to have a little smile.
At least we're doing games. And at least the games are being played as the freshman leans in and gets the roll. Scotty Barnes off the window.
He's very smooth. He's got that silky smooth way about him. 6'8". Going to get better and better and better as he gets familiar with the position.
A 10-0 Florida run that's eaten up about the Florida State run that's eaten up about the last 5 minutes. And it continues with the block by Malik Osborne as he meets Hunter Tyson at the rim.
And he loves every bit of it. Watch his defensive play. Osborne says, no, no, no. See him with the left hand? Most of you great shot blockers, right? Bill Russell, David Robinson, the Admiral. What do they have in common? They're left-handed. You got the right-handed player coming in. You got that left hand. you got a better situation with a block shot.
And there's Osborne pulling down the rebound off the Amir Sims miss.
I think he's got a little danger time early in this game, man. It's only 10 minutes.
A deep triple will not go for Nathaniel Jack. Back the other way. It's another defensive stop. This time, it's Sadar Calhoun that stripped it away from Hunter Tyson.
Yeah, Clemson having a tough time getting open looks now. Really, defense is really suffocating. And that's certainly a strength of Leonard Hamilton's teams over the years. Watch this block. The left hand, he comes over. He got the great angle for the block shot. Great timing on it. And then he's going to celebrate with his teammates. Watch here. There's Mr. Barnes. Oh, he's smooth. He's got that silky smooth. Oh, and his bank account's going to go ding-a-ling-ding.
Barnes with the hesitation dribble. Got caught under the basket, feeds Calhoun, and he knocks down a three. Florida State pouring it on early. They're up by 15.
And that was created by the penetration of Barnes. He had great vision to find the open guy. And they got guys who can knock down the three. And they're playing without their best three-point guy statistically, Mr. Polite, 53%.
Clemson 2 for 13 from the field, but that will at least be a bucket that might get them started in the right direction as Dawes hits a little step back. Previtsa doesn't get the roll, but gets the follow.
Great second effort right there by Previtsa. He's right inside, gets the offensive rebound. Dawes has made two shots that are really important to Brad Brownell's club. I'm going to tell you, teams playing cycles. I think the COVID situation hurt Clemson when they had that pause. Since then, it's been tough.
Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, all Florida State against Clemson early, 24-9. The Noles have the lead, and they've got youth, Dick, and they've got vision.
Yeah, right here, you're going to look at Barnes. He's got vision, he's got good eyes. See, look at his eyes right now. He spots the open man. He sees his buddies. Knock it down. I want an assist, man. Knock it down. Yes, sir. Hey, 6'8". He's making like a little magic man right there. Magic to Greg Kelso. He used to get a lot of assists, magic by having Kelso there to finish off the play. A lot of people don't remember. Greg Kelso led the Big Ten in rebounding and also in scoring. Terrific player.
Well, Leonard Hamilton is happy to have Scotty Barnes back. A brief absence, sprained ankle against NC State, so missed their North Carolina game, but was able to get back for the last couple. And he is an impact freshman. Dawes from the corner, hits the side of the backboard. It rolls all the way back out to midcourt. No shot clock reset, though, down to 5. Amir Sims hooks a pass back up top to Hunter, but that's a shot clock violation, as Hunter didn't realize that the timer was winding down.
Team defense right there, Bob. Really doing a great job. Look, Coach Brownell on the sideline. I will never forget how his heart was broken with Zion Williamson, who they thought they were going to get down there at Clemson. We were there like the day before he made his decision, and all indications were he was looking strong, Clemson. And then he said, D-U-K-E, Duke. You think that broke some hearts?
Wyatt Wilkes turns it over as he was not allowed to run the baseline there, but did. Yeah, you and I called Clemson Notre Dame. It was actually the day that Zion Williamson made the announcement. So we did whatever it was, a noon game. And then he was going to make the, I'm going to put the baseball cap on announcement on ESPNU that night at 6 o'clock. And I remember Jimmy Platt was our director. So he and I had this brilliant idea because we were stuck in Clemson. You know, the private jet. You were back all the way back on the Vitale State, but we were stuck in Clemson. So we said, let's go to the local sports bar and let's be with all the Clemson fans, and we'll tape the reaction of when they get Zion Williamson, and then SportsCenter will air this awesome picture of all these Clemson fans throwing their arms up in the air and cheering. And so we're rolling video of the folks in the local sports bar at Clemson when Zion Williamson puts the Duke hat on, and it was like they had forgotten that they still had Dabo Swinney and Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, they were not. It was not a happy bunch of people.
You know, you mentioned Dabo Swinney. When I see the names Florida State and Clemson, Bob, I reflect back to the great games that they had in football back in like 2000. Look here at the points per game. Look here at field goal percentage. Since that Clemson loss, they've been on fire, the Noles. But, you know, I think of the Jimbo Fisher and Dabo back in 2014, 2016, right down to the wire, those games. They were special. Right now, it's been blowout city. When you talk about Clemson versus Florida State football.
For all the disappointment that Clemson fans may have had, as Barnes comes up short for 3 the night they didn't get Zion Williamson, the Clemson football program now delivers that disappointment to a lot of other football programs around the nation, because there are not too many top recruits that aren't either thinking about or putting a Clemson hat on commitment day and coming to play for Dabo Swinney. He has created an amazing football culture at Clemson.
And he's really a good guy. We honored him at my gala a couple of years ago. He made a big donation. His wife's a cancer survivor. And boy, Clemson, some good people. Timmy Beret does the radio, was certainly an extraordinary, outstanding SID for years. I mean, just went to Notre Dame, by the way.
This Clemson team needs to get some rhythm back to their game. You're right, Dick. That pause that they had because of COVID really seemed to disrupt what was a 9-1 start and all the rhythm and consistency they had going. And Brad Brownell said, we just need to have some guys able to get back on the floor and practice for a couple of weeks in a row. And this is a tough league and a tall chore against a team like Florida State on the road to get your rhythm back.
You know, Bob, and it was not Cupcake City. As we said earlier, they beat quality teams. You beat Alabama, beat Florida State, you beat Purdue, Maryland. They beat some good basketball teams.
Scotty Barnes draws the foul, so he will go to the free throw line. Florida State with an 11-point lead, under 8 to go here in the first half.
Basketball Studios, Carl Ravitch, Seth Greenberg, 19 of the top 25 in action, including Villanova, number 3, down at the half. Aylin Breed's solo act. He lays it up and in. Nobody in double figures, but they're up by 3.
Yeah, when I look at North Carolina, they're getting back to their identity to beat people in transition and pounding people on the glass. In Syracuse, watch out for Quincy Guerriere. He's one of the most complete front court players in the ACC.
We'll have all the highlights. He had 20 and 9 in this game at the half. Tom?
All right, Ravi, thanks very much. And Leonard Hamilton's team up early, 24-13 over Clemson. And as we talked about, Dick, when we first came on the air, as Scotty Barnes steps to the free throw line, I don't know that there's a team that's not ranked right now that's becoming more of a buzz team to talk about than Florida State. We had guys like LaFonso Ellis and Jay Billis earlier today, and I think you as well, talking about the fact that this is a team that's got Final Four talent.
They're going to close this week. If they win this game with the win over Louisville, they'll be ranked this week. I know they'll get my vote, that's for sure. But I heard Seth talking about North Carolina there and Ravi. Bottom line is, if they get consistent backcourt play, their front court can play with anybody when they're playing well, Bacon and certainly Brooks and company. But if they get Love, who's playing a lot better now lately, if these guys playing consistent at perimeter, they could go on a run in the ACC.
Ngom with the rebound. As you saw, Raekwon Gray continues to sit with 2 fouls, and yet that Florida State depth has allowed the Noles to extend the lead, even with Gray on the bench. Walker with a finger roll. That's good.
Tremendous drive right there. Great control, goes to the lane real strong. And got another one of those big guys that got him from out of Canada, 7'2". He gets those big guys, man. He really gets them.
At-wing jumper, and that is a big one as Jonathan Bear knocks one down.
They're going to go a little spurt here to go to halftime with a little confidence. Down 13 now. These next 7 minutes could dictate a whole lot about this game.
That's only the 4th made bucket of the first half for Clemson. Ngom lost it on the baseline.
And it was a really tough pass for him to handle. But another big guy. Look at the size right here. Are you kidding me? Look at that there. Now you got to divide. See, you want to figure out that to 6? Just take 12 into that 79 inches. And you can figure it out, man. Mathematically, I know I could do that. 12 into 79. You got there 72, 6 foot change, and 6'7". That's a lot of size, man. I used to teach at 6th, 7th grade.
I'm bright enough to realize that, at least based on that list, Florida State is the second tallest team collectively in college basketball. Only the USC.
Little turnover right
looks
there.
like this will be a turnover again for Clemson. Amir Sims is called for traveling.
You know, we mentioned the tall guys. Think about this. They lost a beautiful kid. He's coming, Michael Ojo, lost his life. We certainly sent our sympathy out to his family. Just a kid that played at Florida State. Then they have Kevin Gellies down there playing with the Clippers. He was a first-round draft pick.
Engon flips one up. Soft touch.
He's from out of Canada, played in a real small school, so this is a whole different world for him. But you know what? He has another year's eligibility if he wants to stay. Another year working with Leonard Hamilton will really help his game.
He went to a Nike camp in California and impressed to an extent that he got a tryout with the Raptors. They brought him in and said, at least let's give you a look. And then obviously the collective decision was spending a year in the ACC under Leonard Hamilton is a good idea for Tenor Engon. Another triple goes down for the Noles.
Noles really playing well. There's no question about playing really efficient basketball offensively and defensively as a team. They share the ball so well. You're tough to scout against. Tough to scout Florida State because you don't know. You can't center on one guy. So many guys can contribute. That'll be a good matchup.
Big Monday
right
games
there.
on ESPN and the app. Yep, leads off with number 13 Virginia as they sit atop the ACC and they host a Syracuse team coming off of a very impressive win earlier today against Virginia Tech. And then to the Big 12 for the matchup of the night, number 12 Texas Tech taking on number 14 West Virginia in Morgantown. So those are two teams that you know will go to war with one another as Chris Beard, Bob Huggins teams square off in the second half of our big Monday doubleheader on ESPN and the ESPN app. That foul on Osborne, his first, but that put Florida State over the limit. Brad Brownell wants more out of Newman. And he said, really, he is kind of emblematic of what their season has become. They just need to get him on the practice floor. Dealt with the repercussions of knee surgery, a concussion. He got caught up in COVID contact tracing and just has not been able to consistently stay on the floor.
You know, Bob, when you got that pause and you got to go a week without practicing, it affects everything. Stamina, rhythm, timing. It really becomes very difficult.
Koprivica called for the moving screen. So that's 9 team fouls now on Florida State. There is Newman. Sloppy play. Dribbles it off his foot.
They tried to go where no place to go.
The reverse just misses for Raekwon Evans.
Hey, we're going to take a look right here. Watch this. As you go to the goal. Does size matter? Take a look right here at the big guy. Look at that size differential. He's saying, get me the ball, man. Should have thrown it up higher, though. He got a deuce there, but that ball should have been thrown a lot higher. He came down to where his size was negated by the entry of that pass.
Osborne posts up. Leans in. Just off the front rim. Koprivica with another offensive rebound, but that was stripped away. And Newman comes back for Clemson.
Clemson needs a little spurt here. They got to get a nice spurt to go in that locker room.
Alamir Dawes over Koprivica. That's short. And Jay Walker runs down the rebound. Osborne left alone. An offensive rebound put up and in by Raekwon Evans.
And that's what they do well. They've done that well throughout the Leonard Hamilton era in coaching. Really attack the offensive boards with guys that are athletic who have that ability. You know, speaking about Leonard, think about this. He's not been in easy places. He was coached at Miami, football power when he was there. Coached at Oklahoma State, football strength. Came to Florida State, football power at the time. But he has just done an incredible job. He's one of the winningest coaches right now in the history of the ACC. There's been some great names in that league. Starting with, certainly when you think about Coach K's and Dean Smiths and Roy Williams, Gary Williams, and he's right up there in terms of wins as a coach in ACC competition.
Yeah, when he took over at Miami, they were still in the old Big East. And that was in the heyday of the Big East. I mean, you're still playing Syracuse and Georgetown and St. John's and Villanova and Seton Hall when they were all at their best. And UConn. When Jim Calhoun was winning national championships there, and they would play in the old downtown Miami arena in a really tough neighborhood, a decent ways away from the campus in Coral Gables. So he was playing the best teams in America as kind of a fledgling program in the Big East in front of 3,000-4,000 people, and they became a really good program. And ended up in the NBA briefly, but he has really done a tremendous job with this Florida State program.
Yeah, his NBA trip just helped his bank account quite a bit.
You like that when the bank account goes ding-a-ling-ling.
It did help his resume.
With the shot clock winding down, Koprivica ends up with the rebound off the Evans miss from deep.
You know what? Watching him last year and this year, it's unbelievable, his improvement. You see this kid, you see this, Bob? He is really, don't you think, improved, or am I over-exaggerating it? I don't know.
Not at all, and only a sophomore. Nick Honor gets tied up, held ball. The arrow belongs to Clemson, but the lead belongs to Florida State. And Leonard Hamilton, how it started and how it's going for Leonard Hamilton. That after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Leonard Hamilton, all the way back from the mid-70s to mid-80s, was an assistant on the bench at Kentucky. And then fast forward to 2021. And Dick Vitale, we talked about the stops that he has made in between. But how's it going? It's going pretty good when you're the ACC Coach of the Year. And boy, one of, if not the most disappointed team, I'm sure, when COVID hit last season and you were robbed of having an NCAA tournament, was Leonard Hamilton's group at Florida State, because they probably had about as good a chance as anyone to make a deep run. As only Jim Boeheim and Mike Krzyzewski, in terms of Power 5 coaches, are seniors to Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah, look at those seniors up there. Some successful guys who I don't see going away. They still got the energy, the ability, and people always say, who's going to replace Mike Krzyzewski? He's not going anywhere, man. Same with Roy Williams. But Jimmy Boeheim, those guys love what they're doing and do a very good job at what they're doing. Hey, I look at that list there, those guys in their 70s. What about guys in their 80s? What about giving us? You think I belong on that list old? I'm young, though, young at heart, as Mr. Sinatra used to sing.
You're in your 80s? Are you really?
I'm 81, you know that.
I didn't think you were a day over 79 and a half.
Oh, thanks.
Calhoun from the corner. Hits another three, and what a first half it has been for the Noles.
But it's not just this half. Just ask the Louisville people about the Louisville game. Ask the people at NC State. Ask the people in North Carolina. This Florida State team is doing what a coach dreams of teams to do. Get better and better and better and progress with each game. And they're doing that both offensively and defensively. Every shot, challenge,
with a
turnover.
Tough entry pass, and it's a turnover as Amir Sims couldn't handle the bounce in the lane.
Very frustrating right now. You can see the body language. Oh, Mr. McGregor, you got him one time, you'll get him again. He'll get him again. Talk about bank accounts.
It comes your way from Abu Dhabi and Fight Island, UFC 257, as Dustin Poirier takes on Conor McGregor in the main event, 10 Eastern. 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. To order the main card in English and Spanish, go to ESPN+.com/PPV. The prelims will start at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes.
Tell you one thing, I got a lot of information today, Sonny. Chuck Walsh does a great job as the SID down there at Florida State. And this week has been Appreciation Week for SIDs. Doug Vance of COSIDA sent me a note about it, and I couldn't echo that sentiment. You talk about, especially in the pandemic, how these guys have been so good and helped us in so many ways, the SIDs.
Hemingway rims out a three. Amen. They are doing everything they can to try and keep our train on the tracks during a year where normally instead of sitting next to those guys and getting all the information at practices and in meetings, they're doing it all remotely, and they've really been a huge help.
It's really nice watching the way Florida State moves the ball, cuts without the ball, find open shooters. I'm telling you, they're really doing a great job. Missed that shot, but you can see the way they're getting ball movement, player movement.
Bear off the side rim from the corner. Another miss inside for Amir Sims, but he does draw the foul. And speaking of help and helping people, well, Dick, you are going to hold another Dick Vitale Gala coming up in May to try and raise money for kids battling cancer.
Yeah, it's going to be a special night, no doubt about it. We got a great crew that we're going to be honoring, and certainly got Mr. Mortensen going to get the John Saunders Award, Kevin Gandhi, which is a great job. And then on the right, you saw a bunch of youngsters. You saw their pictures. And I'll tell you this, those youngsters, not the flu, we're talking about losing their lives. And I spoke at several of their funerals, Bob. It's a tough, as I speak all over this country, corporate groups, you name it. I've been for over 30 years to watch the Speakers Bureau, but they were the toughest speeches ever. Watching moms and dads putting their childs to rest is so heartbreaking. And I'll tell you, it's worn on me. And I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with raising money to help kids. So people, if you want to help me, go to dickvitale.com. You can make a donation, and it goes to the V Foundation. Those kids you saw pictures of either were at my gala or their families have been at my gala over the years. And the pain and hurt never, ever goes away.
Calhoun with a chance for a 4-point play. And you're right, the inspiration that you have become to those families, and we've all seen it inside of you. It has inspired you to continue this effort so that every year you are out there trying to set a new record and raise even more money than you did last year. And this past season, it's amazing. You did it virtually and set a new record, didn't you, in terms of the amount of money that your gala raised for kids battling cancer?
Well, we got to thank some people that made that happen. People like the Pentecost family from out here gave us millions. Mark Cuban, WWE, Stephanie McMahon, 900,000. I mean, people know that are out there, have children, how devastating it is to have to go through that pain and that hurt. So please, if you can make a donation, no matter what it can be, go to dickvitale.com and make a donation.
Hemingway hits the backboard first. Hunter Tyson, an offensive rebound, comes up empty. And I'm not sure if a foul may have been called on Florida State just as the horn sounded. Let's see.
He got fouled. There's no doubt he got fouled right prior to the whistle being blown. I tell you, tough half there for Clemson, coming off that blowout game where they were blown. There was a foul. I don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this. Really, you don't have to spend a lot of time. I got one eye, and I'm in Lakewood Ranch, Florida, a long way from where they are. But I'm going to tell you, come on now. Come on, he got fouled.
The key was he fouled with time left on the clock, and he certainly was.
He was. Come on, I got one eye, Bob, and I can see that. Come on.
Well, let them put
time.
all of their eyes on this and see if they get it right. It looked like he got fouled with about 5, maybe 6/10 of a second to go in the first half. So it looks like it will be free throws for Hunter Tyson, and then maybe just a bit of time still on the clock for Florida State. And Dick, this is a Florida State team that you think can go where? What is their ceiling?
Well, you know, very impressive. We got to let it play out a little bit longer. I mean, up on top right now, you certainly look at the teams like you look at right there, Gonzaga. You look certainly at Baylor. Baylor today had a tough battle there for Oklahoma State, but came back and are up 9 the last I looked. But you throw in teams like Michigan in there, Villanova. The COVID's hurt them a little bit, but they're right up there. I think they're in anywhere from right now, I would say, put them in a category from 12 and down. But they're going to get better and better. I think they're going to steadily get up there because a kid like Barnes is going to get better. They're getting familiar with each other, the rhythm. The key is where you're going to be in March. When Mr. Lenardi then posts that bracketology, that's when it counts. Right then. Now, it's just great PR and great excitement for all your people.
Well, they've led by double digits in all of their ACC games so far, and actually blew a double-digit lead in a loss to Clemson. That's their only ACC loss. Since that loss and 3 postponements, they've come back with 3 straight wins against NC State, North Carolina, and Louisville, and they will take a sizable lead into the break at halftime against Clemson in the rematch between these two schools. Has that 3-quarter court shot just rimmed out at the buzzer. It's still a 42-24 lead for Florida State, and they just keep it going. A lead at halftime in every game so far this season. Time for the halftime report with Seth Greenberg. Here's Carl Ravitch. Ravi? Welcome back to the ESPN Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Just about set for the start of the second half between Florida State and Clemson. All Noles in the first half. Florida State made 7 threes. Clemson made 4 total baskets. 14 of 16 at the free throw line for Clemson. That's the only reason they even have 24 points on the board. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale. But Dick, we saw the balance and the depth of Florida State in the first half.
Well, their offensive efficiency was around the basket. Plus, as you said, made 7 threes. They had balance defensively. They rotated over, gave help for each other, and their physicality was so strong. And their size certainly mattered big time as well. I mean, they're just a big basketball team, aggressive basketball team. Remember this, though. Remember this. This team beat them by 10. Clemson beat them by 10 early. Clemson is just not playing like they did early because there's no fluke when you beat Alabama and you beat Purdue and you beat a team like Florida State. I think that COVID-19 has affected Brad Brownell's team big time. I think the week they had off was really, since that moment on coming back, it just has not been the same Tiger team.
How do you get them back on track?
They got to get back on track. Because, I mean, they got a resume that can be impressive. But if you look at the eye test today, you look at the eye test, and I got the one eye that they don't look like an NCAA basketball team, I can tell you that. But, you know, here's an interesting thing with Florida State. You realize they've had leads in ACC competition. 34 on North Carolina State. They had a lead of 24 with Louisville before putting them away, and have a lead at halftime of 20 here in this game. It's just been unbelievable what they've been able to do and really hurt clubs.
They've shot the ball extraordinarily well over this win streak as well, continuing in the first half. Over their last 3+ games, they are 36 of 72, dead on 50% from 3. And with the size you talked about, the advantage they have up front in that department, if they're going to shoot 50% from 3 as well to go along with that size on the offensive glass, they're going to be really hard to beat.
Well, and also they're playing without their best three-point shooter. He's right now shooting 53%. He's out with a shoulder injury. Polite. But I'll tell you this, Bob. You know, I did halftime. I went to say, dummy, what did you do? Did you rank this club, Florida State, last week at the AP poll? I had them ranked, Bob. That was Mr. Polite. I had them ranked. And I'll tell you this week, they'll be in my top dozen. I'm going to tell you that right now, unless we have a miracle turnaround by Clemson, and the Clemson kids come back and win this game, then it's a whole different ballgame. Clemson did not score in the first 4 minutes of the second half. Josh Pastner's done a heck of a job. They've won 7 out of their last 8 games, and they started the year losing to Georgia State and Mercer when you look at the Rambling Wreck.
Raekwon Gray commits his 3rd personal foul. Just after Koprivica committed his 2nd.
That little smile on his face, you smile when you're up 20. Now, where can Clemson get some firepower? Sims has got to get going a little bit. He's been certainly quiet.
Fly trap, spins, can't finish.
That's a nice move, really nice move by Trapp and attacking the basket. Just didn't go down for the young guy. He's smiling. Look at him right through the mask. I can see him. Yeah, I'd be smiling too. I'd give a thumbs up. I'm up 20. Yeah, Leonard smiling. Now he's not smiling. Talking to the official, I don't believe that call you're making.
Well, that call was against Clemson. It was a foul called on John Newman away from the ball, his second.
You know, Leonard's big in gospel music. I don't know if people know, he and his wife, really big in it.
Wilkes with a shot fake. That's some sweet music right there.
He's got a real nice touch. He's got good follow through, good rotation, fundamentally sound.
Another miss for Alamir Dawes. Another rebound for Koprivica.
You know, I mentioned gospel music, and one of his favorites is one of my favorites as well. Mahalia Jackson is absolutely terrific. She puts you goosebumps in your body.
Raekwon Gray with a clean lane to the basket, and Brad Brownell wants another timeout as Florida State picks up in the second half right where they left off at the end of the first half. Doubling up Clemson with 2 minutes gone by in the second half in Tallahassee. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale bringing you Clemson and Florida State. And it was a 9-1 start to the season with 7 of those 9 wins for the Tigers over Power 5 teams. But then a COVID pause. They were robbed of their games against North Carolina and Syracuse. And it has been a different story since coming back from the COVID layoff, as they have been drubbed now in 3 straight games. If this score holds, they lost by 35 to Virginia. They lost 83-65 to Georgia Tech on Wednesday night. Georgia Tech got hot from behind the three-point line, and Clemson continued to struggle offensively. And Dick, that malaise has just carried over to today, although we can certainly give credit to Florida State. They're playing as well as probably any team in the country.
Yeah, they're really playing outstanding. And you look at that resume, it's so strange when you see these kind of blowouts. Because it's not like they're missing some key players. But they beat Purdue, I said earlier, Maryland, who today is on the road, and they were beating Minnesota today last I looked on the road. Good entry right there. Good two-man play by the Clemson kids. But then they beat Florida State, they beat Mississippi State, they beat an outstanding Alabama team. Well, I'll have with Ravi Tuesday night against Kentucky down in Tuscaloosa. Nice play right here. Enter the ball, get back to the basket, move, lay it on the glass. Good execution right there. But you look, and then they, like you said, Bob, they got beat by Virginia by 25, and Georgia Tech by 18. And both those games, the three-point shot really, really hurt them.
Looks like P.J. Hall is called for the foul, bumping M.J. Walker.
You know, Virginia beat them by 35. I was being kind right there. 25, beat them by 35. You know, the question I have, Bob, what is the real Clemson team? I mean, because really, you know how good Alabama is? Alabama's been terrific. They beat that team. They beat really Purdue on a 4-game win streak till it ended last night. Juwan Howard's kids went at Purdue and got a win there. And I find it hard to believe, not the much they're losing, it's the way they're losing, getting dominated.
And shooting terribly. 5 of 28 from the field so far in this game. 2 of 18 from three-point land. And Coach Brownell, on coaching in quarantine himself, said it's been hard. He missed practices, and he had not missed many practices in his career as an assistant or a head coach. But now, because of contact tracing from a positive on the coaching staff, he was forced to go into quarantine and try and watch the practices on Zoom, and then as best he could, coach his team from afar. And they just lost their mojo. You're right, and they have not been able in any way to get it back. Koprivica left alone at the front of the rim.
It's getting ugly, Bob, getting ugly. You mentioned coaches, you know, missing practice and all. Rick Pitino's had 3 pauses on Iona. 35 practice sessions missed because of the COVID. It's unbelievable.
And
this
Connor
baby's getting
forces
ugly.
one up.
Look at the ball screen. Koprivica is so much more active than he used to be. Confidence, got that swag now. Oh, it's showtime. They're doing anything they want. Anything they want.
Double figures for the 9th time this season for M.J. Walker.
It's tough for a coach sitting on that sideline, a guy that really knows the game. Brad Brownell, to sit there and watch this is going to hurt big time.
Another 3 missed, this time Hunter Tyson, but sneaking inside, getting the offensive rebound and getting shut down was Nick Honor. And Koprivica comes back the other way.
They take such pride in playing defense, the Florida State kids. Again, that's a trademark of them. I'll tell you one guy that's a very important guy at Florida State, gets no publicity, Stan Jones, their assistant coach. That guy is so well schooled. Oh, look at a great ball fake, share the ball.
Wyatt sets up Raekwon Gray.
Raekwon Gray knocks it down. There's Mr. Jones. He's got a little smile on his face. Come on, give us a smile, coach. I'm covering up. Stan Jones. He is a guy that does a heck of a job.
He is able to draw the foul on the drive.
He can't believe what they're seeing. This club is on fire. The
Cruise control,
putting the hurt to the Tigers.
A little history lesson on this date that certainly Digger Phelps would approve of, because in 1971, the year before Digger was hired by Notre Dame, UCLA lost to the Irish, and that began the 88-game win streak right after that loss to Notre Dame. That ended with a UCLA loss. I think Digger Phelps may have talked about this one, Dick Vitale, once in a while with us, to Notre Dame. And so bookended losses for UCLA to the Fighting Irish in between an 88-game win streak.
Well, you know, that game right there, when it happened in 71, Johnny D was the coach, not Digger, Richard Phelps. And in that game, a guy by the name of Austin Carr, who was a scoring machine, he did something. I bet you didn't know this, Bob. And I know my producer didn't know this, because I didn't know this till about 5 minutes ago. Austin Carr scored 46 points in that game, and that's the most ever scored against a John Wooden basketball team. And then 88 games in a row, and all of a sudden, Richard Digger Phelps, he put on that unbelievable flower on his lapel, and he strutted on the court for Mr. Wooden's 88-game win streak. He rolled out guys, in my memory collect, John Schumann, Gary Brokaw, some great players, White Clay, and they went on and they won that game. And let me tell you, I've heard the story at least 100 times. I've seen cufflinks that he's had about it. I've seen the whole bit. Richard Phelps. By the way, I've got an injured player right here. You know, people don't realize what a great job Digger did when he was at Notre Dame. He had some great, talented teams.
This is not an injury that Leonard Hamilton wants to see. M.J. Walker, who is being attended to right now by Amanda Robinson, the trainer for Florida State. Her birthday, by the way, was either yesterday or today. The team gathered around at the shoot-around earlier today and sang happy birthday to Amanda. And now she is out there tending to M.J. Walker.
Cake? Did they get a birthday cake? I guess they got to be worried about that, because they got a birthday cake. The NCAA may put them on probation. They may, they put Notre Dame on probation for a year in football, Bob, because a coach takes a picture with a kid and also a text message during the wrong time. You know, and we got coaches out there on record, talking about buying players. We got academic frauds going on and buying players. 2017, it's 2021, no rulings going on. Notre Dame got that 1-year probation, and I'm biased, there's no doubt about it, but they should have received a reprimand, not a year when they put a headline on probation. You thought they're cheating drastically. Come on. Coach Kelly takes a picture. Guy sends text messages. Go get those people that are buying players and that are doing things that really shouldn't be done, that are absolutely brutal for the game. And I'll tell you, it frustrates me big time that you have situations 2017. Here we are in 21 and no decisions. You should be able to make a decision within 1 year on programs. And if Mark Evans got to do something with the staff and have that change, because that is absurd. Don't get me started, okay, Bob? I know we got a blowout here.
I think too late. I think we did get you started.
Oh, he did?
And it is worrisome looking at MJ Walker. He took an inadvertent elbow from his own teammate, Tenor Ngom, with the left elbow on a box out off the free throw. Looks like he caught MJ Walker in the head. And MJ Walker is just about out on his feet, being led back to the locker room at Florida State. So let's take another look and watch Ngom as he takes the left arm and goes to try and box out Jonathan Bear and catches his teammate on the right temple.
Oh, wow. Wow, and he goes down. Let me tell you, he's a key player because they're hoping that he can replace and become the leader that last year they had in Forrest. He was a tremendous leader, and MJ's been showing that ability. So let's hope and pray he's going to be okay.
He's their best player. He's their leading scorer at nearly 15 points a game.
And he's a leader.
Not only do they have Miami coming up after this game against Clemson, but then they've got 3 straight games on the road in the league. And if they want to stay as hot as they are, they need MJ Walker healthy and playing.
You don't like to see these situations where it's head injuries. Really scary.
And now we've got Koprivica putting some ice on the right ankle or the bottom of his shin. So that's probably the second best player that Leonard Hamilton has had this season after MJ Walker, and his leading three-point shooter, Anthony Polite, out today with a shoulder injury, and still they are putting it to Clemson.
Well, Gray's certainly playing really well for them too, but you look right there, Koprivica's getting better and better and better.
Bear on the drop. That is denied by Ngom at the rim.
Ngom, I'll tell you, he's got some potential. You can't teach that 7'2" size. He should stay one more year and really work on development inside. They got so many players they can run on the floor.
Scotty Barnes whips one up top. Now it's Calhoun, adding to a career-high day as he's got 13.
So much confidence out there, and the balance is unreal, Bob. The balance of that club, they really share the ball well. They really are a team. T for togetherness, E for effort, A for attitude, and M for mental toughness.
Amir Sims kips one up top, but it's another missed three. Clemson now 2 of 23 from three-point land as Nathaniel Jack gets on the board. That's his first basket.
3 games in a row where they've been dominated like this, Clemson. Because everybody, coaches really get fired up for them when they look at that resume and they say, look who they're beating. Look who they're beating.
And now Jack gets called for the foul.
Block shot will turn this to 2 the other way. The ball movement, and then look at this nice pass by Barnes. Good ball reversal, and there's the 3. Wow, nice reverse. Play horse, try that reverse on a layup. Transition game. Really feel bad. You don't want to see kids humiliated and beaten badly like this. It's got to be so frustrating for that coaching staff because I know how hard they work. They're making them become just exclusive, shooting the perimeter shots. Can't get nothing inside.
Dawes turns one over. Calhoun back the other way. And that will be a foul on Amir Sims with a push to the back of Ballard. Well, we have lost legends in the world of baseball, especially in this past year, Dick. And the loss of Hank Aaron, Henry Aaron, just passing away, I know hit home with you. You took these pictures when you were part of a guest appearance on Conan O'Brien and had a chance to spend some time with Hank Aaron. And that's got to be some memory right there.
Yeah, it really is. My dad loved him. My dad thought he had the greatest bat in the game. And my dad used to love Joe DiMaggio as an all-around player, but he loved Mr. Aaron. I told him when I sat with him about that, and we sat and talked, and I even went into a stance. I said, check me out. Can I hit? He looked at my stats and all. He said, stay in television. Stay in television. But he was such a beautiful man. He went through so much hurt and vicious hate that's out there when he was challenging Babe Ruth's record, and then when he broke the record, and really just hard to believe that people can hate in your heart instead of appreciate the unbelievable talent and the unbelievable ability that Hank Aaron had. And not only did he have that unbelievable ability, he was such classy off the field as well as on the field. Memories are unbelievable. Hank Aaron, just as special as it gets.
Maybe the most amazing stat, and to me, he still is the true home run champion of all time. If you were to take away all 755 home runs that he hit, he still would have been a 3,000 hit guy for his career. He would have 3,000 hits if he never hit a home run. Here's Osborne for 3. That's good for Malik Osborne.
Boy, they are on fire. Everything they're doing, they're playing with such confidence. There's such rhythm. Timing to everything they're doing is excellent. The efficiency is off the charts, Florida State. And this is a frustrating afternoon for Clemson.
Well, the world is certainly the worse for losing a man that not only was a tremendous baseball player, but was probably one of the top human beings in sports history as well. As we say goodbye to Hank Aaron, and we're back after this. A word from our ABC stations.
In college basketball studios, I mentioned 19 of the top 25 are in action. Duke and Louisville aren't ranked. Both are on 2-game losing streaks. Louisville gets a layup from Jalen Withers on a pretty pass, so they're leading by a couple. That's on ESPN. Villanova 58-45 over Providence. Justin Moore 17 points, 5 rebounds. And Big Ten Ohio State underway up 4 over Wisconsin. Bob.
All right, Ravi, thanks very much. And Dick, Villanova Providence, that's an interesting game. I know Providence is a team that has caught your eye this year. You think they're one of those teams out there that no one's talking about, but could be dangerous come March.
You know, the Big East is really tough. There's no question. Ed Cooley's done a great job with the Friars. They may have too much to handle today with Villanova. Ravi, I'll see my man Carl. We'll work. Well, we would see each other when we talk together. And I'll be for Kentucky and Alabama game. And wow, we had the Kentucky-Alabama first game in Lexington. They better play a heck of a lot better than that down in Tuscaloosa Tuesday night. Today, they're in a game with LSU that's really a game that both clubs need badly. This is just unbelievable, Bob. They can't do anything wrong. I mean, they're all smiling. I mean, they're just putting a show on. You got to remember what they lost from last year, too. I think you documented it earlier, Bob. Losing Patrick Williams to the lottery, starting now in the NBA, losing Devin Vassell, lottery pick. I mean, it was unbelievable. Forrest, one of the great winners ever to play for Florida State, and yet they just reload. And they don't get none of these guys are McDonald's High School All-Americans.
Well, Scotty Barnes is, but you're right. That is the type of player
I knew
but I think it bears repeating and pointing out that Scotty Barnes is not the normal type of guy that Leonard Hamilton gets. He has gotten highly rated recruits, but he's not normally bringing in a top 5, top 10 player the way that the Kentuckys and the Dukes are, and yet he has won over these last handful of years just as much as those teams have won. And boy, last season, if COVID had not canceled March Madness, who knows how far Florida State would have gone based on the fact that they were the champions in the regular season of the ACC. And according to our own Mike Schmitz, as an NBA draft prospect, if Scotty Barnes can pick up his shooting, then he will really be the total package, as he, according to Paul Biancardi, has a lot of similarities to a Draymond Green type player.
That doesn't have Draymond's physical stature in terms of the strength and all that. He'll get stronger as he gets older. But I think he's going to make himself a shooter. A lot of guys, when they go to the NBA, they become better shooters. And so much time to work in those areas. You don't have the academic pressures along the way. I think he's going to be a very good player. But, you know, Paul Biancardi told me, in terms of sending me some info, 2018, their class was 13 in the nation, Florida State. That's all that had to go into. And look at this. Hustle. Oh, what a pass. Oh, what a pass he made.
Calhoun couldn't convert off the pass from Koprivica. And now an injury.
Koprivica went around him.
for Clemson.
Shoulder injury right here.
That's the freshman Omax Prosper. So with under 10 minutes to go in Florida State on top big, it's time for Brad Brownell to worry about a freshman.
Oh,
and speaking of on this date, how back in 1973, an FSU alum and one of the greats of all time in Florida State basketball history, Dave Cowens named the MVP of the All-Star game in the NBA.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. In a game against years ago, look at Cowens hung up there in Florida State jersey. In a win, this comes by the way of one of the great guys in sports. You can meet Timmy Beret, who graduated from Notre Dame, Clemson icon. He sent me a text about the fact that Cowens, in a win over Clemson. Ready for this? This is a pretty good job rebounding. 25 rebounds in the game. Talk about a glass eater. Talk about an all-Windex man. Man, special. Glad to see the kid coming up here.
Well, you mentioned Florida State and Clemson a short time ago on the football field. And I thought you made an interesting point off the air before we came on earlier today about what Leonard Hamilton has been able to accomplish in Tallahassee. Right now, the basketball program for the Seminoles is better than the football program. They've gone through coaches, and they're trying to get that turned around. But having said that, we often hear about the challenge of a coach in basketball, having to deal with being at a quote-unquote football school. And your point was it shouldn't be a challenge. It should be an advantage.
I really believe you got to use football in a positive way. Billy Donovan did during the Urban Meyer era when he had those great teams. He'd make sure he'd have some great recruits and sell the idea of what a weekend is like in Gainesville. You got to take it and you got to utilize it in a positive manner. You can't walk around feeling sorry for yourself and say, oh, gee, they give football all the care and all the attention. You can have both. There's no reason you can't have both.
Yeah, think about some of the schools that immediately leap to mind that you might on the surface think of as a football school, but that the basketball program is every bit as good, if not better, at times than the football program. I mean, both Michigan schools, right? Michigan State with Tom Izzo and the legacy they've had of Michigan basketball as well, but going all the way back to the Fab Five and before, the Glenn Rice, Ramil Robinson national championship team. And, you know, you're right. If you can pair those two programs together, Dick, why can't they feed off of each other? Why can't you bring a football recruit into, you know, a crazy basketball atmosphere and have that football player, just like any other kid, say, you know what, this would be a fun place to go to school?
You got to just sell the positives that you have. Two great possessions, by the way, by Clemson in the last two times they had the basketball. Got some good execution there. Stan Jones, I talked about him earlier, Leonard's right-hand lieutenant, does a great job. He's very content and happy working with Leonard.
So maybe Florida State's most improved player, Balsha Koprivica, at the free throw line.
I would think so. From what I saw last year and this year, he looks like a different player. And I'll tell you this as well. You know, last year's team had a chance to win it all. In fact, in my most recent book I did with Hoops Weiss, the guru from out of the East who really knows sports inside out, especially at the collegiate level, and we did that book. That book is, at the end, we have a draw. And in that draw that we do, we fantasize and we go through the draw with who we think is going to win. And we got Florida State winning the national championship. That's how good we thought they were, winning the national title. And then I felt bad for the Dayton kids because they would have had a great chance as well.
Another block from Koprivica. Another turnover as Raekwon Gray tried to find him rolling to the rim.
Yeah, he wanted to get Koprivica. He said, you made the block, I'm going to get you to run. Nice hustle by the kid from Clemson.
Alamir Dahl is able to recover it, but gives it away. And here comes Raekwon Gray. Wilkes. That's off the mark. Nick Honor rips it away. Here comes the Fordham transfer. Gives it up. And it's taken away and head right back the other way. The Noles, and now it's basically open gym.
Yeah, it's just sloppy play. It's shirts and skins. Shirts and skins right now. Up and down we go. Honor came the way of Fordham, by the way. He's a transfer who can shoot the ball. He can score.
Now, there should be 5 guys at the scorer's table right now just basically saying who's got next.
You know, when I saw this game being assigned to us, and I saw what they did early, I thought we were going to have a great matchup. But then you saw what happened after the COVID-19 and how it affected that team and how they were blown out. So, wow. So we can't be totally surprised by what we're seeing here.
Raekwon Gray adds to the Florida State lead.
He's got that strong physical stature, man. That body looks like he can be a heck of a tight end.
Honor with a floater. And a foul called with 6:51 to go. What an effort today by Florida State. The Saturday Showcase on ABC is presented by 5 Hour Energy. Get it done. Susan, Dick Vitale, and the history lesson continues. Let's go back to 1966, Dick, when Lenny Hall became the first black player ever to play for Florida State. A knee injury 4 minutes into his debut cost him his career. Tried to come back in the game and play on it and could not. And obviously that's a completely different era in terms of medical science.
You know, it's really
Lenny
sad.
Hall broke the color barrier for Florida State back in 1966.
Tell you one thing, it's so sad when you look here at Clemson's first African-American player, Mr. Mobley, in 1970. I mean, it's hard to believe that era. To me, I was 26, 27 years of age at that time. But now you know why they're fighting so hard for having justice out there. Systemic racism has taken prevalent for years and years. And there's no need for it. We got to have love for one another. And all of us love equality, love one another, care about one another, treat people like you want to be treated. That's all you got to do. It's just everybody treats one another like they want to be treated. I learned that from a mom and dad with a 5th grade education, but a doctorate of love. Used to sing that praise to me all the time. Richie never did. Richie, treat people like you want to be treated. And I don't know, I've tried to do that in my life.
And you've done it well.
I think all of us in ESPN, a lot of good people there, care about one another. Guys I know anyway, my colleagues have met so many beautiful people.
Wilkes is able to flip one outside, but Nathaniel Jack can't connect.
I like this kid Honor, number 4, man. He plays hard, plays with a little bounce to his step. There's got to be something with this team that we don't see, because there's no way in the world you win those games they won. I mean, they won some big-time games.
Well, we've got one for you coming up later over on ESPN. A full day of great college basketball games capped off in the SEC with LSU Kentucky at 6 Eastern. Should be a good one. It's on ESPN and, of course, on the ESPN app.
And both those clubs are really in desperate need for a win. LSU defensively has been breaking down. They got a great diaper dandy who can score in Cameron Thomas. It'll be interesting. Boston came back with his first real strong game against Georgia, but they lost at the end of the game, and he had 18 points. Made some good shots. Maybe he's going to get going.
Amir Sims is fouled by Ngaka.
Now, one more time, Bob, I want to sing the praises of all the SIDs. I mean, Chuck Walsh has been sending me notes here, and I know Ben does a great job. When you think about Winter Rod down there at Clemson, I mentioned Timmy Beret earlier, and this week is Appreciation Week for all the SIDs. I mean, they did Doug Vance and Cosida really getting that message out. Because a lot of guys have lost jobs, the problems economically due to the pandemic, and people have no idea how valuable they are, except if you work like you and I do, Bob, and realize the help they provide us is unbelievable. It's invaluable.
And we could not do our jobs without them. There's no question. Wilkes with 10 to shoot. It's caught in the corner. Cross to the freshman Scotty Barnes, and now Ngaka with 5 to shoot. Ball movement to Wilkes. That's off the mark. And the rebound pulled down by Clyde Trapp. All right, so Clemson's going to fall out of the top 25, Dick, with a performance like this and make it 3 straight losses. Where does Florida State go to? From unranked to where?
Well, they're going for me. I'm going to chart my vote in around 11 or 12. I really believe that. That's how impressive they've been in the streak that they've had. This will be their 4th impressive win in conference play. So I'm going to have them up there big time.
Why stay inside the lines when you could add some flavor to everything around you? A little cheesy here, crunch of color there. Discover the possibilities of just $1. Taco Bell's $1 loaded nacho taco. It's value beyond belief.
The freshman Scotty Barnes to the free throw line. Preseason watch list player for the Naismith and Wooden Awards. And we had him listed as the #1 power forward in America. #5 overall player on our ESPN 100, and yet they envision him more, Dick, as you said, as a point guard. And granted, you know, a Magic Johnson-sized 6'8", 6'9" point guard. Do you think his game can translate to the NBA as a legit, you know, run a team point guard?
Well, you got to understand one thing. He's only a teenager yet, so he's got a lot of basketball ahead of him to get better and better. And that's what Leonard told me. Leonard said he's got great IQ for the game, understands the game. He has great skills the way he handles the ball pass. He's got to work to become a better shooter, and he will. And he's got to work defensively because he's going to play point. He's going to be checking some really outstanding people on that perimeter. But hey, let me give you an update. We just talking about these SIDs. I just got a text message here from Chuck Walsh, and it's all about, right now, MJ Walker in the locker room. He took his tape off by himself. He's sitting up, and he's watching the game right now. MJ, we wish you the best, buddy.
Good.
We wish you the best. Just follow that medical team there. Listen to Amanda and all those people, and you're going to be fine.
That 3 goes down for Clyde Trapp. Yeah, this is a team that, and there's Chuck Walsh, speak of the devil, as he has been in constant communication with us from the sideline in Tallahassee. But for this Florida State team, as you said, to legitimately go from unranked all the way up to the top 12, top 10, they need MJ Walker. And he's their best player, their leading scorer, and probably the most consistent go-to guy they've got offensively as Jack hits a 3.
I'll tell you one thing, that guy's going to shoot the 3, man. I didn't know they were going to be that good of a team shooting 3s. You got Duke playing Louisville today. Both clubs, as Carl mentioned earlier, both have lost 2 in a row. I think Duke's going to get better and better with Jalen Johnson back. That was a nice move right there.
By Clyde Trapp.
Trapp's made some good plays here. He's really made some good plays. Driving the ball, he made a big perimeter shot as well. Florida State's been dominating.
And I've said in one article, we can put somebody on the moon. We can't figure out how to get along. You know, that doesn't add up. We got to get off our selfishness. We got to understand we got to love one another. We got to care for one another. Because right now, if we don't come together with this, something negative can happen.
I certainly say amen to that. Amen to that statement. Learn to love one another. Get rid of the hate factor, people. Put an arm around one another. Love one another. Respect one another. And our nation will be a stronger and a better nation.
Well, if our society overall mirrored sports more, it would be one of the best things about sports and the world that we're constantly living in, Dick, is we see all of these kids with all of these diverse backgrounds all come together to fight for a common goal and form lifelong friendships. And I think we talk probably as little about race as any segment of society, just because these kids all blend together and we don't really think about it. We probably should think about it more often, to be honest with you. And here's a good example of exactly that. Malik Osborne, the transfer from Rice, that not only has made an impact on the court, but is making an impact off the court, because he has been named as a member of Florida State's President's Task Force on Anti-Racism, Equality, and
you know, I had a Florida
really well-rounded young man.
Here, see, Athletics says he's calm with an ability to frame a message. And we had the same thing basically with Scotty Lewis down there in Florida with the Gators. You know, trying to help people in a very peaceful way. Oh, up and away! Showtime! The Seminoles! Oh, the Noles are rocking it, baby! Who said they weren't going to be as good? Oh, man, I'll tell you one thing. This club is getting better and better and better. Watch out, baby. They won the ACC last year. Look at this. Having a little fun, the kids. They're just having a little fun.
When you get a player like Quincy Ballard, who barely gets a chance to play, hanging from the rim, it has been nothing but fun today for Florida State. And you know what? Let's raise even more money to help kids battling cancer. Dick, these 2 books that folks can get and get autographed.
Well, you know, the Seminole fans, well, like the lost season, we picked them to win the national championship. And it's a fun book. And then, like I said, with a great guy, Dick Hoopswise, Howie Schwab did all the research. And then I got my Mount Rushmore, which are the 4 best coaches, 4 best players, 4 best recruiters, 4 best in every category. And every book, and you've heard me say this often, every book, the dollars that I would make are going to the V Foundation for Pediatric Cancer Research. NCAA Council. They should put a banner up there. Dickie V, lost season, picked us #1. I got to get him a banner, Bob. I got to get him a banner.
the VBDI national champions, 100%.
Yeah, I like that. See, I knew you had that in you, the Vital Ball Dome Index Championship.
Absolutely. And we should just get a bunch of guys that, like you and me, just a bunch of bald guys there to congratulate them, and we'll help hoist the banner.
Don't put yourself bald, because you're a long way to go to be like me.
Yeah, I don't know. When I'm coming at you, I've got you fooled. When I turn to walk away, the cat's out of the bag. Next Saturday, the 30th, over on ACC Network, a big quadruple header on tap. It starts at 2 Eastern with Miami, Wake Forest. Then Florida State, Georgia Tech. And then a ranked matchup, Virginia, Virginia Tech. And finally, Pitt hosts Notre Dame from the Peterson Athletic Center. If you don't have ACCN, go to getaccn.com for instant access and get all those games.
Florida State, Georgia Tech will be an interesting game. Like I said, Josh Pastner's club has won 7 of the last 8, played Virginia tonight. They've got good guard play there with the kid Alvarado's really good. Nice drive.
And it'll be goaltending called on Quincy Ballard. All right, now, this is really what everyone has been waiting for, because it's your chance to gloat because you got a big win out of your Bucks last week against the Saints. And now, give me the Dickie V VBDI, the Vital Ball Dome Index breakdown of the NFC Championship game. Your Bucks against Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, tomorrow.
You know, everybody's saying, oh, it's too cold. They're not going to be familiar. There's no Antonio Brown. Oh, really? So right now, other people will step up like Goodwin. And certainly, you got Mr. Evans is still there. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Forget all that nonsense. Right here. Yeah, I'm a Bucks guy, true and true. And I'm going to tell you right here, baby. They sent me this big banner. All right. Let's get the Bucks banner up there, baby. Right there. 34, Tom Brady and company, 27, yes sirree, the Packers, goodbye Aaron Rodgers, take your MVP, but we're getting the Super Bowl, and it's going to be right in Tampa, and you know what? I got tickets if I want to go, I was told. Let me say this, guy watching right now, Brian Ford, the president of the Bucks. He's a Florida State guy, Florida State graduate. I know he feels excited about this. But I know one thing. He's hoping to feel excited tomorrow when they leave that unbelievable stadium in Green Bay and all that cold weather. Like Tom Brady said, hey, man, I don't want to hear about cold, just dress warm. He's played in cold weather before. I really don't. You know, obviously the Packers are very good, but the Saints are very good too. And the Saints found out that this club is for real. The defense, I mean, it's just not offense. Talk Tom Brady, the defense has been unreal. And the defense is going to be challenged big time because when you factor in, and you know it better than I because you're a football guy, guys like Jones, running back, Adams, the wide receiver, and their defense can be tough. But when it's all said and done, I just think Tom Brady was the greatest acquisition ever in the history of Bucs football.
Well, if you go back to week 6 when those two teams played, And I think apply it to what you saw last week in the divisional round. Todd Bowles has done an unbelievable job, as you said, with that Bucs defense. He schemed up some looks last week against the Saints that, quite frankly, made Drew Brees look terrible. I mean, he threw into coverage. They dropped 7, sometimes dropped 8. Their pass rush still was able to put pressure on Drew Brees, and he turned it over. And back in week 6 against the Packers, the same thing. They were able to confuse Aaron Rodgers. The question is, can they do it again tomorrow? But if it's anything like what Florida State did to Clemson today, you'll be a happy Dick Vitale tomorrow afternoon, because Leonard Hamilton's team put on a clinic from start to finish.
I'm telling you, start to finish, what a dominating performance. Just a dominating performance. Got him right to field, jubilant and excited. Take care, Bobby.
80-61 is your final. Florida State over Clemson. For Dick Vitale and our entire crew, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Tallahassee.